there are so many more beautiful prayer warriors in this church than me. That's why I feel like maybe that's why God called me to it, because you know, it's just a conversation with God, and it doesn't really matter the words, it's in the heart. And yeah, you don't realize until you're older the privilege God gave you to be born to the parents and grandparents I had, the whole extended family. Life was very simple in the 30s and 40s, I thought, and they lived it. You know, they didn't just teach us about it. They lived it. I was baptized at 2 weeks, and it's been a continuous thing with God all through my life. Did I drift away? Did I do stuff I shouldn't have? Absolutely. But I just think what a treasure that was, because, and it was not something they thought about, it was just how they lived. That was how they lived, and that's what they taught us, you know. I remember my dad saying, I don't care what you do, if it's dusting that piece of furniture, you do it unto God. Everything we do should be done unto God for His glory. To me, that's a better word than stewardship, to do it unto God, because all that we have is His, and He gives it back to us. And yeah, so anyway, that's how I started out, and hopefully it's just progressed, and I've taught my children, and they're teaching theirs. I was a caregiver for many, many years, and I think when you know you have to rely on God for everything, you learn to live a life of prayer. It became a life of prayer. And I think then after my husband passed away and I moved here, I think the call and it was a call to be a Stephen minister. I think that for me, coming into faith was probably one of the greatest things that has set me up for other things like the prayer ministry, because I remember feeling so inadequate, and yet I wanted to give back for all that had been done for us. And you know, in Stephen ministry, the motto is, God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. And I think I really grew through that. You know, we do a lot of serving and a lot of prayer. And so I feel like those two things are primarily, I know others do a lot more than I do, but those two things I think primarily are my calling at faith, I guess. Well, I think first of all, to go to Jesus, because that's where I look for prayer. Because you think about if our Lord needed to pray as much as He did, and He prayed about everything, and He withdrew sometimes and prayed all night. If He needed that to sustain Himself on this earth, then I think how much more do I need that? And I think whatever we're called to do in the church, well, or just in our lives, it's in the Word. If we go there and we ponder and we think about it and pray about it, He will show us the way, and He will give you what you need for the calling that you have. I went through a really struggle quite a few years ago with finances, with health, with I was here in the city alone, you know, no family, and I got pretty wrapped up about it, and I thought, whoa, wait a minute. So I went to Matthew 6:25 to 34, and for a month or 6 weeks, I pondered that, I prayed that, I studied that, and by the end of that time, there was just this peace. And I knew if I do for Him and put Him first and His work first, it's all going to fall into place, and it does. But you know, I did a lot of praying and pondering over this thing because it makes me nervous to do this kind of stuff. But And I don't feel, I don't feel like a lot of other people in this church that I have the abilities. But my mother used to tell me, because she was a heart. She was a loving heart. And she used to tell me, well, I just do what I do. People would comment on her being the age she was and the things she still did. Well, I just do what I do. She said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess that's how I am too. I don't know. I hope so.
No.
I hope so. Well, and there's been a lot of rough times along the way, and those rough times, I think, really bring us to our knees, to humility more. I think I could be very much more humble than I am. That's one thing I work on. But, if you allow yourself, you grow through those times too. I wish more people could know what serving, how it helps you grow.
Yeah.
I remember being told that with Pastor Johnson with Stephen Ministry, and he said, oh, you're going to grow through this ministry. And I thought, boy, if I grow any more than I have in the last 15 years, I don't know. Well, you do. You just continue to grow. That's why I tell my children when they get confirmed, or my grandchildren, you never close that book. That is one class you will never graduate from until Jesus calls you home. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know how many of them still do that. Probably not many. But it's true. You've got to stay in the Bible.